Setting direct signals is trained in how to track the system. The tracking system is all also GPS lock settings. This opens up more levels of provision locations and high center interference. This puts you in a better track locations and basically, how you see yourself in all correlation. The direct signals and line communication is a 13 channel. Now the 13 channel rotates its spin cycle that opens all position line directions. The channel streamlining the operations high lines is now in a high surface. Now try to measure in its correlated your set location of funnel line center is going in this position location high setting. The center line interference line location at track setting. So it comes into the line communication. Now line communication is a metric line. It sets line locations into 3 sets. The center line in a rotation interference in the direct location is 6/7 positions of 8. The central line center location puts everybody in a constellation path. The inner line center to the inner child communication is on to 1 line to travel to the astral tither to its 13 track lines of its higher self. Formation line interference in a 24 ground setting and high line rotation interference line connections to ROM. Now that comes into levels of abbreviation line interference in 3 set locations, setting line communications up title defense lines of no limitation line position. Coming into that position line direct locations puts you into remembering operation of its line setting. The spectrum communication line setting opens all position location of directions of where you are in position of directions. The center calculation system opens up levels of higher communication open channels. Now the channels and rotation set lines and communication to pi line interference is direct location of sequence time lines. Now the position line direct locations are going to put you in the left hemisphere and the right sphere in 12 and 12 line rotations into one panel. One panel, one position, track line setting. The more we set up the line rotation interference, the faster we guys get you into one frequency, into all line communications. So imagine that one in all timelines in the same day location setting put you guys in all direct line settings, so all positions in the fast track setting. Now that direct location puts everybody into position locations into 6, 7, and 8 to its position lines of its GOD. The geometric operation of design is now in its particle line setting. The center calculation is now set up, okay? So we got a 24 ground setting. It's a rotations, position locations, 12 line signals and line interference, putting the past lines into present location, all right? Spacing line setting is now in a rotation interference of its funnel. The funnel is in rotation this way, and it's going in this way line connections, this and this way line interference. That's 2 Fibonacci sequence locations and 33 line rotation and position locations coming into 50 generations into its final frontier. Now it sets a medium line rotation in set locations to its millennium. The millennium line position location to 1 generation graph. 1 generation graph lines its communications of vectors over pi, correlations of time sectors. Time sectors puts everybody in position locations into 24 ROMs. And position line direct location settings puts everybody into positions of their set lines. Okay, the circuit line communication setting and rotation to its surface sets everybody into 13 tracks of high rotation interference and track locations of their astral travels and their astral connections to their higher self. Full correlation system, balanced line settings and high setting line rotations into their positions of their memory set location of its awareness. Right? So that's where we are, and that's where we stand in set location into space and time through frequency. All right, so the center calculation line setting sets position locations and all levels in set location. Now, once you get into that position line direct locations, we get into 24 setting, right? So 24 line. Now, the 24 line center lines position locations into two line centers, direct locations into 2 sets, right? Now, the 2 sets line center splits set locations into line position percentage into line position of 1. That's 1% locations into line connections into 100 line setting. Now 100 line setting sets line interference and set locations to its higher self. Higher self lines its communication setting and rotation system to its location set and rotation. Setting and position location comes into higher levels. This leisures its correlation for operation locations. So remembering operation and position location of its line setting. Setting correlations. So it's pyramid, activation, streamline, and rotation setting. All right, setting that lines and mainline position location sets this line communication into 12 signals. So the 12 signals line, two set lines for line rotation. 24 line rotation sets up in position of a center line communication into a stream setting, sets position locations into a tunnel in 2 line settings, and 2 6-line setting and rotation interference, setting position location directions. Changing the pyramid line rotations into 4 sets. Now, 4 set locations comes into 3 line measures in a correlation system in direct location settings, higher channels, higher streams into 13 correlation system. Done by equation. All right. Center calculations, hieroglyphics, line centers, aerodynamic line interference, high position location calculation settings. So that's 1/0, 1 line position of box position of Z line into UFO line rotations in position location of tracks, high center line positions of aerodynamic, high line interference in set locations, high setting, in position locations into its beta wave line interference, operational line positions into a mega sets line position of travel in set locations, setting correlation system into another 6-line setting, in-line position locations into 8. Now the 8-line center sets line in 8 positions and shifts lines into 8 position locations, splits position location of traction, track and position locations to its sun line and position location its moon. Comes in 1 position location projection locations overlooking set lines of communication, sending course lines into a satellite position location, a direct line setting, rotation spin cycles in the opposite sides line interference and position location probe locations, high center interference location, and position location high system, putting direct locations down by equation. All right, setting position location and direct line settings. Now that's a satellite inline rotation, inline rotation, position location calculation system, umbrella line rotations, ether line rotation interference, foundation graph lines, in a box line rotation, position location, 2 out of line rotation, center line position locations, ovals, center calculation system, system out of line rotation interference, balance communication system, all levels of line interference, line position of delta, communication operations, high signal location omega, sending line location, tube handle communication line singing, high line rotation interference, measuring correlation system, balancing correlation set line position location of pi. Down by equation. Rotation spin cycle sets line position location of 2 pyramid set lines. I get 1 line rotation spin, 2 line rotation spins, and 3 line communication system settings. Setting communication of 0, 0, 0, bracket line positions at all levels as 0, 1. Setting communications into bracket locations into 0, 2. Setting bracket line conditions of line center location of 0, 3 line setting, and set locations into bracket location of 0, 4. Setting communication line centers at line position location of 0, 5. Setting position location line position location of 0, 6, and set location high setting position locations done by equation. Okay, setting 0 lines and high center and high interference high position locations at all levels. Now line center location of 12 plus 12 line position is 36. Channel line and operation line positions omega, center line position of delta, delta communication all levels in 1 pyramid setting, and line rotation interference and UFO line rotations. So the pyramid sets locations high sitting and position location directions down by equation. All right. Rotation interference, psychological line conditions at high sentence locations into 3 track locations. Pyramid set in line of 6, line position of 7, position location of 8. Now the 8-line center line position location 9, energy rotation spin, setting line position locations into high center locations, hologram structure stream done by equation. Setting position locations all levels, data line interference, Omni universe line setting. Now this opens up its locations, electrical line, position of box line, rotation, interference line, position location, direction, location of 4 channels, 4 channel line, position line in east, and position location of west, and south line, and position location downward core line setting, rotation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line setting, high position. High levels, a higher line, no line rotation, interference line, position location, dimensional line rotations, a lock line, position location attractions, coming in high line rotation interference, box locations coming out, line center locations in 2 sectors, 2 line centers, ovals, another box location, center calculation system to box line center, trifactor 5 line center, high position locations, all levels, and a 3-track line into a new pyramid line rotation in a direct high signals into 13 line settings and high line interference and higher south locations down by equation. All right. Now the rotors and the routers and the set lines and the communication line setting is really recognizing all communication of bracket line settings into hanger communications and all levels of energy field rotation. So it's really recognizing the communication of panels. And I got 3 line settings and 3 set locations. All right. So we got bracket line settings of 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 line center, 3 line on line position location of 3. Now the 3 line center line position location of 3, sets line position of 3, sets line position of 3. This comes in position location heart, it's a location of soul. It's a correlation system. Now this impulse is its line setting and high line interference subtraction. We take the intelligence, we take the mind, and we take location of perception line setting, put up a correlation system done by equation, setting line interference, line directions. All right. Now, rotors and routers is really understand the Wi-Fi position line track lines and high line interference and high track location position line settings. Position location of 12, line position locations times lines of 2. 12 lines and equal line 2, line of rotation position location of 2. If it's location 2, center calculations and apply the line to center rotation spin cycle and set locations. Setting correlation system and high line center to another pair of line rotations into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 line centers and 5 line position location 5, 5, 5. Core line centers of 5, high line centers of 5, high positions of 5, and position of balance of 5 in correlation setting. Puts position location new pyramid activation lines to rotation spin cycle line interference, a new ground line rotation circle line rotation interference location calculation setting done by equation. Okay, setting up the new Wi-Fi line, center line interference, and line position location to moon. Open all track line conditions. There's a moon set line interference, high center locations. There's a sun position location, high setting. Rotation spin cycle, 6 line position locations into 8, 8 line position 9, 9 position location to 10, 10 line centers 11, 11 line position locations into the line to 7, boxes location levels, TV reception line settings, graph line stream, set lines and rotations, position location, track setting done by equation. All right, so setting number, sequence location of pattern line settings. Put all position location high, center line interference, line position location, track line, position location operation, high signals, high position location, always measure, measure communication, scales, line position. Now this is where you come to perception locations and eye lines. Now the eye line, center line interference. Okay, setting correlations, line settings, in the line location of 7. Now the 7 line sets its box location into 2 reception lines into 2 track locations. Now this 7 center lines and rotations, the 7 correlation system into 7, 7, 7. Hanger line and rotation interference, line position locations. This is underscore through pi. Setting position location of pi, line communication line center, decentralized to centralized communication system into 13 line setting, equal line conditions of 5, line position location of 7, equal line conditions of whole levels of 12 line setting and DNA track line interference line position locations into higher self correlation set and high interference line direct location position location to high center interference. Setting position location track system done by equation. Rotation line settings is to really understand the spectrum communication of rotors and routers and like in Wi-Fi and line interference, line track locations, communication energy lines of bandwidth and correlation system, quantum line interference coming into escape line interference, line direct locations into measures, correlations to atmosphere line. Coming into delta line stream, coming into the beta wave, set line interference, alpha line rotations and positions, delta line communication setting, into beta communication line rotations, set locations. Now it comes into energy line trap, energy line interference, a trap line, center line interference, releases position location of freedom, setting line interference of sovereignty, setting correlations of new form line rotation into position location calculations done by equation. Now the rotors and the routers and set location of waving set lines, high center line position location is spinning in a line rotation of spectral calculation setting. Rotation spin cycles and set location electron line wires, alpha line position location of delta, delta line position of beta, beta sets line position A, B, D line setting is bracket line position of A, setting position of B, setting position location of D. So this is atmosphere line communication in a balanced correlation system as dimension line rotation in another circle line rotation if the Fibonacci sequence line interference line track location new operation signal in the high position location and track system done by equation. Setting correlation system waiting on signal. All right, so how are we all doing? A lot going on. Just setting up the ROM, guys. That's all I'm doing. All right. Correlation system, Cameo. Gem Rocks, high stand line, Kinex is Heather, Airbender lines of Johnny, Guardian line interference, all those are Chris, Val, Gypsy, Leah, Trinity, high stand line, dislocation, high system, all levels, high stand of JP, Andre, calculations, Airbender, Val, line center, and high dislocation tractions. You guys are coming into Equinox and you have to really understand the tree line setting, how it formations, position location, track interference, and that's 13 over pi line rotation, position line, direct location settings, Commander. high center location of gypsy and position location high system, position location attractions, TINA line interference. Really understand the correlation system and direct location settings. Now it's redirect the location of signals, but in line of position location 12 are line over pi. 12 sectors, calculation of vectors over quadrant setting. Now the quadrant setting line and rotation comes into all measures. Measures and locations comes into scale sets. High center location, position location attraction. Setting direction is really understanding the 12 line setting. 12 line setting, line interference is 0, 0, 0. 3 track locations, equal line conditions of 3. In position locations, and there's underscore line positions. Into Mercury. Mercury sets lines of new planet line rotations. Into Pluto. Pluto sets line position locations. Into Saturn. Line communications, which we open up to more line setting. 3 track line settings and rotations at 3 spots, 3 set locations. Now, setting generation streamlines and set lines in 6 line position location, equal line condition of 6, equal line condition of 6, bracket location high setting, 6 over pi, 6 underscore, 6 positions of balance correlation. Setting position location levels, another 6 line setting, another 6 line conditions, 1 panel, 2 panels, line rotation interference, a correlation setting. Putting direct line setting in high rotation position of spin cycles, high center location of correlation system, to all position location of Mercury, in Pluto line interference, and direct location of setting, in position location of Jupiter. Jupiter circumventing engine line rotation in its direct location setting and high line position location of flash drive. Flash drive communication line setting, high line interference location at all levels, 12 line setting and rotation interference, 12 line positions times 1 line setting into 1 position locations, another 12 line rotation interference, left hemisphere, right hemisphere line locations, all levels of sig line and rotation interference of 24 ROMs and correlation system, 24 grounds and high line interference, 24 high setting and high positions, into position of the present line setting and rotation line position locations, into 1 signal and line interference in line locations into 1, 2, 3 sets and high setting in rotation spin and rotation line and communications to bracket location of the sun lines in position of the moon and project location lights of track locations. Down by equation. All right, you're all set. Center calculation of 6 lines of 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Sequence pattern, communication line settings, put them in a platitude location, activate their positions at all levels, quantum channels over pi, line position locations into higher calculations, flight navigations of 1 to 12, send line interference, escape line position of God particle line rotation in position locations into high settings into 24 signal locations. Done by equation. It's all done. All right. Yes, God particle. Congrats on all line signature line settings. So the God particle is line setting. Now setting line in position of core sets and position line direct location setting is time sequences, time lines. This is where it comes into heart generated line rotations. Now we're getting into the generation of heart line stream sets specifications into levels. Put you into another tether in communications in the 4 core line settings in 1 position over pi is set location in its direct locations to its new flux capacitor high channel location. All right. So you got 24 line settings, 24 line interference, 25 set location to center operation line setting. Into position of track location sets. Line center location into position of the sun and position location of the moon. Sun comes into line signal, line setting, sets line position locations into 24 to 25 line setting and rotation. Setting correlation system in another round setting line in an experience line position. Spectral correlation system comes into down sequence of time lines and line rotation into another ground rotation setting. Setting correlation system in a 2 track line position locations into 3 over 3 line rotations over pi. Setting the line interference of 2 brackets of 3 line position location and track interference into 2 panels in space and time through sequence location settings. Done by equation. Now it's all set. It's all set. You're in a 24 ground setting now. Woo! Through your avatar location of computer chips line setting. Congratulations. Thumbs up and 2 line setting. Mechanical high position locations to the moon line setting. All right. How's everybody feeling? Coming into 25 block signals, waiting rotation box. Center atom sequence half pipe setting of 5 to 2. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 2 over 5 and 5 over 2. Sector lines of communications into levels. Biokinetics, biostreams, biosurface, bioline interference, aquatic line positions levels. This goes back to line position location of Physics 101, but the position line direct location is center line communications into your 24 signal line setting. This puts you in all pi correlation system in position locations into 12, 24, 48, 72, and it's one line setting in position locations 144 equals line center line conditions into 144 line interference in position location equal line communications into its dimensional line interference and rotation to its operation signal in operation location and operation position into its triangle set a 3-line setting in position of 6 and 9, 7, and 8, and a line position of 9. Now the 9 changes to 7, 7 crosses over 8, 8 positions over 6, and crosses line position location in its dimension into 144 signals in high center line position to bracket location setting in 2 track locations, 2 line setting, 2 rotations in position, 2 lines measured in triangulation set line high position location calculations done by equation. All right, so the team is now at 24 signals, equal line conditions 144. Congratulations. All right, you guys are at 144 now. Bam. That's it. It's all done. Boom. So we're all good now. So recognizing spinners and having lines of all levels of recovery, setting position line direct locations. So now we're working with 24 line settings and equal line conditions and position. So that's line position of 2, bracket location of 2 lines, and bracket locations into 4 line communications and 4 position lines into a new flux capacitor communication setting. Now you take the 3 line communications, that's 2 over 3, 3 sets line conditions, 2 crosses over line position of 2, 2 comes into 6 lines of communication into 7, box's location is theta, 7 comes back to 6 location. Now the 6 line sets line position of another 6 line conditions because you need 2 panels, 1 space, 1 time, split locations into 3 channels. So you got 3 line settings, 3 rotations, and 3 position locations, heart, mind, and soul in correlation setting, multi-pass. All right. So we're all set. We're all ready to go. So you got a high center line interference, high position location track line settings, branches and high center coming into these locations. Right. Now the rotation spin cycle is set lines and higher level settings. So this is a 24 signal. It's setting communications to line center of 6. This comes into 1/2 pi correlation setting. Now the high line of rotation sets its position locations. This is where you come into timeline sequences times a pi through its heart reactor. Now that's a 12-9 signal into a line positions into plus over line positions, setting correlation system and position locations into positive and line interference of negative line position location track line position. So this is 12 over pi, 12 over correlation, and 12 line setting in division locations. 3 realms of line setting and line rotations to another dimensional line that locks its location to higher levels of channel operation streamlines into its position location, its correlation system of all levels of high setting positions into set location of its memory setting. Done by equation. So recognizing set lines and high lines in a formation location gives you all values of correlation settings of bandwidth line setting. Really understand the ratios, proportions, bandwidth line settings, longitude and latitude. Longitude equals latitude, setting positions, right? So a correlation system of 0 line and 1 in position of 1. Now this is where you come into the data line setting. We break it down in all position locations into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set locations, right? So this levels its cross line, levels its cross line in set location of bracket and set location of 0, setting position of 1 and set location setting. Now that sets line interference sets position of ground lines into the level of communication system into circle location setting. Now the center line interference sets position location to your pyramid line rotations into 4 waving cycles in set locations. Center line communications into set location to the laser line into another ground setting rotation in set location settings. Done by equation. All right. And so you have to understand the meters, the metrics, the position line setting. Now the vibration line stream is set lines into alpha. Okay. Now the line communication is center line operation. So you got 1 rotation, 2 rotations, and 3 rotations into your position of your Earth. Now the line communication system is alpha, the center line communication is delta, and line communication set lines is in 2-track location at 3-line position location to measure. Setting line position of triangulations, 1 UFO line rotation, center calculation, set lines and height setting, another crop circle, another crop circle, another crop circle location. Setting line position location, in position location attraction. Setting line position location, a walk surface line position location into 4 panels of rotation setting and crossing signals and high position locations into 9 channels of streamlines and high setting locations, done by equation. All right, and so there's a lot of signals that you have to understand how this is all set up. This measures you in all levels of scale. You got a scale, set location, and position, right? One scale line setting, another scale line position locations, right? So it's rotation spin lines and high position location, all levels, opens all levels of high center interference. Now this metric lines, its longitude equals location of latitude, line position location is satellite position locations, and box of 2-line system, done by equation. Scale line settings, 2-line centers of 4 set in position locations into 25 comes into tomorrow line rotation into its heart reactor. Waiting on signal, done by equation. So you really have to understand how to use coordinates. It sets lines into your space line setting of bandwidth locations all levels. Line communication is position location to your cloud lines. Schematic line rotation, right? So map location of pyramid sets. Okay, X marks the spot. Setting correlation system is all levels of signal line setting into 45% of a channel. Okay, to set lines of communication, set lines in rotation. Now that signals its line interference into a half pipe of 6 in line position. That rotates its spin cycle into an S line setting into another 6 locations. This sets line position location into line setting of 6 line position locations into 4 line settings. This 4 equals line position to 5, line position location into 9 equal line conditions to another energy wash and a rotation spin that rotates its center locations to your Earth perception line condition, done by equation. All right, so map sequences are all set up. The schematic line rotation interference, ROMs correlated in set locations into computer chips high setting. 24 ground setting and rotations, left and right hemisphere line setting is all position locations into 0 of 24 signals. Congratulations, all done. All done through pyramids, correlation system, map sequence, locations of pi. High generation streamlines and high center position locations, all levels, opens all line position locations into your position line settings of all scale of high setting line position locations in your projection locations. All right. I know there's a lot going on, and a lot of people are surfing in set lines and high position location attractions now. Zara, how you doing, Zara? Great to see you. Yeah, so you are in position on high levels of high travels now. Yeah, it's all set up to high setting. So really recognize the communication or AI map lines. Now you're in position location, X marks the spot. Position location, structure line, center, and line position of circle. Setting position of circle and set locations into this line setting in rotation. Now line position locations come to one sector. This is one line center rotations and one scan position. Opens all signals in high center rotation. Channel line interference is 3 line position location to track lines. Now setting correlation system is the 2 panels of correlation setting, high position. The panel communication system to its pyramid line center rotates its high line center to high level communications into triangulations of 3 set locations. 3 set locations comes into line position location of perceptions, equal locations of AI, setting line communication of its awareness in set locations into high center line interference and track location to your line communications of maps of equation, done by equation. All right, it's all done. It's all good. Map sequence location AI line division, setting position locations, all levels of set location settings. Maps are set. Yep. Maps are set and line connection is schematic line interference of 2, position over 4. Tomorrow we get it into timeline sequence, timelines of pi, putting all timelines into 1 position, equal line conditions, and 0. 0 line position locations into minutes, into hours, and locations of days. Bracket locations into memory, intelligence of its dimensional location into its locked surface in its dimensional line setting. Okay. So this is where we turn the second lines and set locations in position. Okay. Seconds, minutes, hours, and days. Setting line location to one graph line setting into seconds. Seconds in the coordinate set. Sets a T reception line into two block location settings. The rotation spin lines, it sets line location to its triangulation 3 line setting in position. Okay. Now, understanding seconds over channel over pi and correlation set lines and high position location traction is really recognizing your seconds, minutes, hours of the day line setting. Okay. So recognizing line interference as seconds is all line communications is 60. Okay. Seconds. Okay. Communications of per. Okay. Line communications equals a minute. Now the 1 minute line center is going to change line position of half pipe of 6, setting line interference. So that's position locations into positive and negative underscore line setting of pi correlation. Now the pi correlation comes into a full pi high set line positions into 3 measures. 3 measure line interference is 1 line dot. 1 line dot. So that's 1 division, 1 location into 2 panels and 1 line setting into 1 division location. Dimensional location of 3 sets, 3 line settings and 3 line rotations in 3 position location of south line winds, center line position location north, east, west, and south line position location to all line communication at set location. Done by equation. You see the timeline settings? Yeah. The recognition line setting location is seconds, minutes, hours of the day, guys. How do you think you blast off? You blast off an all correlation line setting, a line interference of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So setting signals and high line interference, that's 24 line rotation. So that's 3 equals 3, high center line position location of 4. Now 4 line center locations into 6. 6 equals line center of 7. 7 sets position location of 7, 7, 7. This comes into a Z line in bracket location in position locations into 9. Set in triangulation system into energy wash rotations and a full cycle rotation setting. Now the full cycle rotation set sets high line interference into high levels. The celestial line communication into your galactic family sets line location to higher communication to another tunnel and rotation setting into a half pipe 6 line in rotation setting. That by equation. All right. So there's a lot of signals and high center locations. Setting up coordinates in your map lines is truly recognizing the line communication setting. So understanding your map signal locations into 1 pi, 1 equals pi, pi, okay, equals line communication of 6. 6 equals lines of 7. 7 line position crisscross is 8. 8 line setting and line interference equal location of 8. And line interference location is 8. This has never been done, this set location. So we got 8 line setting line in position of flux capacitor into the center of 0 gravity, setting a position location in the pass line of 0 gravity, setting correlation system of future line center of 8, 8 and 0 gravity line interference line position locations. Put everybody in a center operation of center rotation. Done by equation. Woo! That's it. It's all done. I just had a centralized and decentralized interference location at 8, 8 line centers of past, 8, 8 position of center, 8, 8 position location of future. Put it into your pyramid line setting, rotation, inline position locations, all levels, high center rotation, indirect location to 2 channel line position locations, high center locations, high position locations, all levels of high line rotation into your tetrahedron operation cycles and high center location, new ground center into new magnetic highway information line setting rotation setting. Done by equation. Now the line streams are set lines in 3 line communications. 3 lines up and 3 lines down rotation. All right, it's all set. And that's how you get things done in your set system of 24 ground setting. So It is amazing, isn't it, Bojan? Really recognize what you're doing through structures, your positional hologram line settings, your computer interference, your quantum line channels. You calculate high interference at E equals line setting, location of metric interference, location of scale lines, visible location of box setting, the visible location of timelines, time streams times pi, time sector line interference location, position location, probe locations. Operation cycles, high line interference, screen settings, digital frame line rotations, calculation train line interference rotations, high positional case calculations, low grant settings, high operation signals, high positional case calculation, high setting. It's all set through location setting interference. It's all done. So tomorrow we get into 2 lines of new securely positions to panel line rotation interference line position locations. This is where we track lines, balance communication 8-8 and center line position location track interference, infinity cycles, and 1 ground setting. This puts position locations over pi correlation system into 25, a time sequence of time correlation system into your reactor location setting. All right. So I'll give you guys 5-10 minutes and I'll see you on Zoom. Adios.